Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Anna Rodriguez. Winter storm Nico has moved on, but not before leaving behind record amounts of snow in at least 8 cities.
It came down so fast, and thunder snow was the big calling card of this one. So many of you reported that to us as well. We had big snow in the Northeast and big totals coming in for a couple of hours, and all of a sudden you had to start shoveling. Let's talk about some of the big totals that we got out of Winter Storm Nico. East Hartford, Connecticut coming in with 19 inches. That's where we had some of that thunder snow, and I know that added, no doubt, to you guys getting so much snow at once. Merrimack, New Hampshire, 16.5. Springfield got 16. Islip, New York, 14.3, a new record for the day. Nashua, New Hampshire, 13.4. And Providence, Rhode Island, close to a foot, but not quite, at 11.9. All right, so let's talk about what we saw and what we need to clean up from today. So it started across the plains. Nebraska, actually, we ended up with a couple of 8 or 10 inch totals, very localized. Most of it was just, 1 to 3 inches as it spread right across the Midwest into the Northeast. Pennsylvania amounts range from, 8 or 9 inches in some of the highlands across western Pennsylvania to 2 inches in Philadelphia. And then this thing got cranking off the coast, and we saw inches per hour happen here from New York City up to Hartford and New Haven and Bridgeport and Providence and Boston, Springfield, Worcester. You were all in it. Maine as well, and then it moved on out. All right, now we've got a little bit of lake effect to come in, and we got a next little clipper to come in, and we'll talk more about what's up next after all this snow fell from Nico. And at 1 o'clock, the lake effect and a clipper, and a combination of both will put a little bit of snow across parts of the Northeast. The lake effect will put a little bit more. Here's that one band that we're watching just to the east of Rochester, going just south of Syracuse, lighter as it gets down towards Oneonta here in central New York. Now we go back and stretch. You can see where that extent of that band is. When you get multi-lake bands, you get a better chance of getting some bigger totals, and actually when they're single bands like this too. So coming off of Lake Huron and then right over Lake Ontario, we're getting that. Now we've got some more snow coming in with our next system. This is a clipper coming in, very light, barely reaching the ground in most spots here, but we'll keep an eye across lower Michigan into Indiana. We might get a little bit of light snow out of this, stretching on through parts of western New York, Buffalo, into New England. Again, you could get another light coating. You might not even notice it on top of what you have already out there. But again, more snow falling on the roads, actually, most importantly. Light, very light accumulations possible as we watch this into Saturday morning. So Friday night, Saturday morning for you in the Northeast. Albany, New York. You guys really started everything, I feel like, yesterday. You got that band that set right up over the Albany area, and it was just dumping snow at 4 inches per hour. Now, let's talk about what's next, because the clipper is not such a big deal for you, but the next storm, Sunday night into Monday, could be. So let's track that. So as we get into the end of the weekend, we're going to have our jet diving down across this area. Upper level low up here will sort of keep things cyclonic, and we'll continue to watch the pieces of energy pop on through. We get a low that develops right off the coast again and strengthens and has access to moisture over the Atlantic. So now with the cold air in place, a little bit different than last time, right? We already have the cold air here. We're going to see the snow come in here with the track of this particular low pretty far north. We're going to see that accumulating snow pretty far north as well. You can see it's all north of New York City. Philly, D.C., you're not even worried about it. And this next one, it's rain for you. All right, but snowfall in the cards for Portland, across Keene, New Hampshire, Concord, Manchester. You've all got it Sunday night. We may mix a little bit with some rain in Portland and Boston, but then changing back over to snow when it's all done here as that low starts pulling away and more cold air all the way down to the surface starts coming in. So Boston, get ready for more snow. Monday could be another snow day, guys, out there for you in Boston. We got the snow coming in, potentially big accumulations, especially up into Maine and maybe even into southeastern New England. So this is Sunday night into Monday.
All right, thanks, Jen.
Cold. We're about 15 degrees colder than yesterday, starting the day in the teens, feeling sub-zero here in Boston. So this is the wind chill all across the area, and that's really what matters, right? As you go out this morning in Binghamton to walk the dog, it feels like 2 below, 10 in New York and 12 in Philadelphia. So as we get you through today, it's going to be a cold day, especially with the snowpack. That's going to help keep things cold out there. Temperature-wise, we're going to warm up into the 20s. Wind chill-wise, we're not going to warm much out of the teens in Boston. So that's what it feels like all day today and overnight tonight. Now, we notice these south winds coming in. So we do get to warm up in spots, and especially where we don't have a lot of snowpack, Anna Ritis, areas, we have a better chance of really warming up getting into the start of the weekend.
Is it an east wind?
No, it's a south wind. I like that wind. See in the pattern where today we're going to see the cold stick around in the northeast, of course, cleaning up that snow. A clipper coming in from the Midwest to the northeast. Not a big deal snow, but a little bit of snow gets to New England by this evening. And then, of course, in between that, there's some lake effect to talk about. Cold starts your day in the southeast, warming up by afternoon. Temperatures get to the 60s in Atlanta to 70 tomorrow as we warm up all across the southern plains and a good chunk of the east, too. I mean, look at New York City and Chicago, a big turnaround. You're back to the 40s. Dallas, as you just heard, you're in the 80s. But Denver, you see signs of this change coming. You'll go from 70s today to 50s tomorrow. So we are going to see a marked dip in our jet stream coming in, digging in across the Intermountain West and then right across the middle of the country. Dallas mid-60s on Sunday. Look what happens by the time we get into your Monday. We've got cold air filtering back in. We don't go that far in this. It's only the weekend. But anyway, cold air filtering back in here to the plains, and that will help get our system going in the northeast.
Half past the hour on this Friday. Welcome back to AMHQ Early. I'm Ana Rodriguez.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. It is a Friday. I mean, we've got so much going on this past week here. And this weekend's going to be busy, too. So let's get you out the door this morning. Or maybe not. Maybe you're still shoveling. As temperatures have really dropped off as well. So if you didn't get that roadway or parking lot cleared, it is just a crunchy kind of slippery sheet of ice this morning. All right, so here's some of the big totals. Again, Dutchess County up to 14 inches in spots. New York City at Central Park picked up 9.4. Islip 14.3, new record. Philly only ended up with 2 inches, although north of town, you did get more. Up Allentown, we got a daily record of 7.1 inches of snowfall yesterday. We go farther north, and there was this one band that set up early in the day near the Albany area, and that really helped put down some of these bigger totals across New York State into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. But then, of course, we had just the bands of snow that set up in the afternoon that helped us get 10.9 inches of snow in Boston. It was so interesting how it came down Boston. As of like 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, you had, what, 2 inches, and then you picked up another 8 inches of snow in just about 3 hours, Anna. So it was a big dumping of snow.
To shovel.
It was just an unfortunate accident. You know, the kind of snow that we had in the Northeast was very heavy, very wet snow for most of you. And so when you're shoveling, even, you know, regardless of what kind of snow it is, your blood pressure is going to increase. The danger is that the cold, too, is a factor because that constricts your blood vessels. And the combination of both the exertion of the lifting of the snow and the fact that it's cold out and your blood vessels are constricted, that increases the threat of a heart attack, and especially someone already prone to heart disease and a heart attack here is especially at risk. Now, before you shovel, it's important to be ready for it. You want to warm up, actually, just like you're going out to exercise, because this is exercise. Wait at least 30 minutes after you wake up to go out to shovel. Let your body wake up, let your muscles warm up, right, and get ready to go out there and do this, what is, you know, actually a workout. It's a workout. In fact, some cases harder than most workouts that people do. So we urge caution today as you go out there and continue cleaning up from the, 10 to 20 inches of snow that we got in the Northeast. Now, snow wasn't the only problem with winter storm.
Easters and storms there in Situate because they're right on the coast. They're south of Boston, north of where Jim Cantori was in Plymouth.
I mean, they're no stranger to that kind that was pretty brutal, pretty wicked in Boston. We had there in Situate.
I like it, Jen.
Winds were what, up to 70 miles per hour out in the Cape.
Out in the Cape. Yeah. And as far inland as Worcester, you saw winds gusting at 60.
Very windy day yesterday. I want to talk about what's up next now after we settle from Winter Storm Nico. Let's go over and take a look, though, first at some of the totals of snow that we got. We've got East Hartford, Connecticut coming with 19 inches. You guys were one of the big winners. You had rounds of not just snow, but thunder snow that set up shop right here, and that helped give us those really big snowfall rates per hour that added up. Merrimack, New Hampshire, we had 16.5. Springfield, 16. Islip, new record, 14.3. Nashua, 13. And Providence, Rhode Island, Anna Riddis' hometown, 11.9 inches of snow. Her family's busy shoveling out today as well. All right, so let's look at what's coming up next. We have the lake effect snow happening right now with that cold air moving over the still unfrozen lakes, which is another story in of itself, how unfrozen the Great Lakes are right now. Now, we're going to be looking at this through today being a story, at least through the early afternoon. Lake effect snow advisories are in effect. South of Buffalo, we got a couple of unorganized little bands, but then this one more steady band sort of stealing the show. Not terribly heavy, but east of Rochester, you're going to get several inches of snow out of that. Then we take a look at what comes next. So I will say in between the lake effect and this, there's a clipper tonight that comes through, drops a little bit of a light coating of snow through New England. But then we really have to look ahead to Sunday into Monday for the next storm system. A low that's going to track on through. Upper level energy will help it develop right off the coast up here of New England. It's farther north than our last one, so that will keep everything farther north. And also, I will tell you the temperatures warm up too. So we're not looking at New York City or Philly for snow out of this, but we are keeping an eye on Boston and certainly farther north, the potential for some bigger, heavier snow. With this thing, again, really developing off the coast, strong low, access to moisture, that's a recipe for a lot of snowfall. So look at this, Sunday into Sunday night. This is when things really start to go down. We've got this low pressure developing now right over here. And so now it's throwing back moisture, and where there's cold air, it will stay all snow. And for most of Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire, it's going to be all snow. Portland will spend some time switching back and forth. Boston will spend some time switching back and forth to rain and snow, but then ending as snow by Monday morning. The potential for some very heavy snow across Maine and then into, say, New Hampshire and then into interior parts of Massachusetts. Heavy amounts expected by Monday morning. Anna Rittis.
All right, thanks. Within the Northeast yesterday, they could go for a frozen margarita, even
yes.
if it's like the wind chill's below zero.
But I think they could probably go for some 80s, which we will get across the southern plains. Wait to see some of these temperatures. I know it was warm earlier this week, but it actually gets hotter into the weekend. So Dallas, you're one of the spots. We're warming back up again. We had a brief little cool down. 73 today. 81 tomorrow, and then 65 on Sunday. And you might forget that our average high this time of year is actually sub 60. Dallas, I said it earlier this week, I feel like your winter is almost over, because even when we cool down, the worst case we get is about 50 for a high. I mean, we have a very warm pattern setting up, but you know, that's the next 2 days. We've got the heat, the record heat. Temperatures in West Texas hitting record levels today. We're going to see western portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and then tomorrow expanding throughout the southern plains and into the Mississippi Valley. Temperatures going 10 to 20 degrees above average. And where you're 20 to 30 degrees above average, we'll start talking records. So today, Oklahoma City 75, Dodge City, Kansas 80, Amarillo 86 degrees, setting records here. Houston, we're back into the mid 70s. And then tomorrow, all of these spots could set record high readings. And Anna Rittis, it's not just about a daily record high. It could be a monthly record high, too.